Okay, so now on these word problems, type 3 is when you can identify a point and identify a slope. Now remember, slope's the easy one to identify because it's cost per something, or you got that word per in there that it tells you the rate. So when are we going to use this type? When it gives us a sample point. And remember, a sample point is in the form of x and y, so we need to know what does x stand for, what does y stand for, and the rate, which gives me your slope. Okay, so let's look at number 9. At Eagle Bay, it costs $12 per hour to rent a canoe. Slope, $12 per hour. Nate and his friends rented a canoe for 4 hours and paid $68. So let's take a look at that slope. My slope is $12, and because it says per hour, I know that x is hour and this is cost. So x is going to be hour, y is going to be cost. That's so easy because I've got that language there. So hours stands for x. So if I were to make my graph, x stands for hours and y stands for cost. All because I identified cost per hour. Right? Changing y over changing x. X has to be hour. So now I've identified that, and Nate and his friends rented a canoe for 4 hours and paid $68. Look at that. 4 hours. That's my x, and paid cost $68. So I've identified 4 and 68. For 4 hours it cost $68. Bam. 4 hours and paid $68. That's my XY ordered pair. So now that you've identified a slope and a point, you can figure out your equation. Remember, we already identified in previous videos how do you make a line when you're given a point, you're given a slope. Remember, it was 2 ways. You could do it by the shortcut, y equals mx plus b, which is what I use, or you can do the point-slope formula. So here, I'm going to do 68 equals 12 times 4 plus b, and I get 68 equals 48 plus b, subtract 48 on both sides, and b equals 20. So my beginning point's 20, and my slope is 12, so my equation is y equals 12x plus 20. That's my equation. That's my linear. This allows me to solve for beginning point, but that's not my equation. My linear equation is y equals 12x plus 20. So there's my linear equation, and now, how much does it cost to rent the canoe for 7 hours? Well, my beginning point, this stands for 20, so we didn't know that here yet, but this 20 means that's how much it's going to be to rent a canoe, $20. And then it's $12 per hour. So if he did 7 hours, well, it's 20 to rent it, and then 12 times 7, so that gives us 14 and 70 is 84. 84 plus 20, so the total cost is going to be $104. And you need to identify that over here in full sentences. The total cost is $104. So that's how we're getting that one. Let's look at number 9. Excuse me, number 10. So a construction company charges $18 per hour. Ding, 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 ding. $18 per hour. My slope is 18, and already hour stands for x. This is cost because it's got a dollar sign. So cost is y, x is hours. And that's my slope. $18 per hour for debris removal plus a one-time fee for the use of the trash dumpster. The total fee for 8 hours of service was $219. Hours of service is x. $219 was cost. So I have identified for 8 hours it was $219. Now it's given me a slope and it's given me a point. So now I just use whatever way I used before. Y equals mx plus b is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to plug in. 219 equals 18 times 8 plus b, and with the magic of television, I'm going to tell you that your beginning point here is 75. So now, once you solve for b, so now that I have my beginning point and slope, I can make my linear equation, and it's y equals 75, oh no it's not, y equals 18x plus 75. Because 18 is my slope, 75 is my beginning point. So now let's think about this. It says, what is the one-time fee for the trash dumpster? Don't lose sight of common sense. Look at what it says. The construction company charges $18 per hour for debris removal plus a one-time fee for the use of the trash dumpster. So what does this 75 stand for? That's the one-time fee for the trash dumpster. That's my beginning point. No matter what company you use, $18 an hour, but to use their service, it's $75. So write and solve an equation for the one-time fee. Well, I've solved my equation, and this is actually answering. It's $75 for that one-time fee. So my answer would be $75 for the one-time fee. All right, and I'm just, for the sake of time, I'm not writing that down. All right, let's look at number 11. A company offers premium cable for $39.95 plus a one-time setup fee. All right, offer $39.95 plus a one-time setup fee. The total cost for the setup this is $39.95 a month. That's what we're missing there. $39.95 per month plus a one-time setup fee. Okay, so you should have month in there. So this screams slope. So slope is $39.95, and this is months, right? So X is months, this is cost. So for 6 months, it's $264.70. So 6 months is $264.70. So I have my slope and I have my point. So now I'm going to use my shortcut y equals mx plus b. Y is 264.7. And my slope is $39.95. And of course, I'm going to use, not x, I'm going to use a calculator to solve for b. So that's 6 plus b. So when I multiply and then subtract, my b value here, I'm just going to tell you, is 25. So now that I have my beginning point and my slope, my equation is going to be y, that's not a line there because I'm sharing the same one. It's going to be y equals 39.95x plus 25. So that's my linear equation. And now the question is asking me, write and solve a linear equation, here's my linear equation, to find the total cost for 2 years of service. Well, what did we say X stands for? X stands for months. It's asking for 2 years. So how many months? This has to be in months. That's the form. So 2 years is 24 months. So 24 months is 2 years. And then Y, my total cost here, is going to be $983.80. That's my cost of cable for 2 years. Actually, that's pretty cheap. Ask your folks. I bet that's really cheap. Okay, that's number 11. How much time? We're 8 minutes. Okay. I'm just going to tell you the points here, and then hopefully you can figure out the linear equation, okay? So $5 per week, bam, slope is 5, plus an installation fee. The 12 weeks of service is $210, so 12 weeks for $210. All right, with that information, what is your linear equation? I'm not going to do the work for you because you should be able to do it. So your linear equation, you should be getting y equals 5x plus 150. That's what you should be doing when you solve this. If you're not getting that, you still need help and come see me. So now it says, write and solve a linear equation to find the cost of the installation fee. Well, let's look at what this says. It says a home security company provides security systems $5 per week plus an installation fee. So this 150, that's your beginning point. That is your installation fee. So your answer over here is $150 for the installation fee. Okay? All right. Let's look at word problems when you use 2 points. So 2 points is when the problem gives 2 sample points. And x2, y2. Right? So let's look at this. It says to surf the internet for 15 minutes at an airport, it costs $4.05. For 40 minutes, it costs $5.80. Bam, there's those 2 points. 15 minutes is $4.05. 40 minutes is $5.80. So what does X stand for here? X stands for minutes, Y stands for cost. How easy when it's in here that I can already identify X and Y axis. So now think back to those videos. When you had 2 points, how did you make a linear equation? One, you had to find your slope, change in Y over change in X. So you can do this in a calculator, but you should be getting for your slope here 0.07. Now that you have your slope, you can use one point, it doesn't matter which one, and then you can plug in y equals mx plus b. So you can do 0.405 equals 0.07 times 15 plus b. And when you do that, when you solve for b, your beginning point you are going to get is 3 when you do all that. So now your equation, you have your slope, you have your beginning point, so y equals 0.07x plus 3. That's your linear equation. Now think about what this linear equation says. X we know stands for minutes, and y is total cost. So if you're surfing the internet, it's going to be $3 just to use the internet plus 7 cents per minute. So so that's what the overarching equation is saying. $3 just to use the internet, 7 cents a minute. So if you are finding the cost to surf the web for 1 hour, these are minutes, so it's 60 times 0.07 plus 3, and then it's going to cost you $7.20 to use the internet at the airport. Okay, I know I went through this math fast, but you already know how to find the slope, and you already know how to find the beginning point from those previous lessons. So this, I want to focus on finding the linear equation and using that linear equation formula to work for you. Okay, so number 14. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 Fahrenheit. Water freezes at 0 Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So 100 degrees Celsius and 212, 0 degrees Celsius and 32. So what do 100 and 0 stand for? Your X. Your X stands for Celsius, and your Y stands for Fahrenheit. Okay, that's what X and Y stand for. So remember, slope, change in Y over change in X, and when you do change in Y over change in X, you will be getting a slope of 1.8. Okay? And then when you use your slope, like y equals mx plus b, and you go back and you use any point, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use this one because it's got a 0 in it, and I love zeros. So 32 equals 1.8 times 0 plus b. So that cancels out. So b is 32. So now that you have a slope and a beginning point, your equation is y equals 1.8x plus 32. And if you think about this, 1.8 is really 1 8/10, which is 18 over 10. And when you reduce that, you get 9/5. Does anybody recognize this formula? That's the formula to change Fahrenheit into Celsius. How cool that you can use that formula just given 2 points. So now, X stands for Celsius, Y stands for Fahrenheit. So the question's asking, what Fahrenheit temperature, if the weather forecast says it'll be 25 degrees Celsius, well, 25 stands for Y, so 25 equals 9/5 X plus 32. Subtract 32 on both sides, and I get -7 equals 9/5 X, and then multiply both sides by 5 nines. 5 nines, and I get -35 over 9 is X, but that doesn't really make sense in degrees. So when you solve that, it's going to be 76. Doesn't make sense. Hang on. What did I do wrong? Oh, I plugged in wrong. 25 is not Fahrenheit. 25 is Celsius. I did that wrong. Sorry, guys. So, sorry. So y equals 9/5 times 25 degrees Celsius. See, that's why we label it, so we don't get confused. So now that's 9 times 5 is 45. 45 plus 32 is y equals 77 degrees Fahrenheit is what it would be. Sorry for the confusion on that one. Okay? All right. That's number 14. Let's do, I'm just going to give you the information for 15 so you can see. The value of a car decreases at a constant rate. After 3 years, the value is 15. 3 years, it's 15,000. And after 2 more years, the value of the car is 11,000. So now be careful because it's after 2 more years. So 3 years, it's 15,000. After 2 more years, which would be a total of 5 years, it's 11,000. So that one, it's just not clear cut. But after 2 more years, you can see 2 more years is going to be 5 years. So at 3 years, it's 15,000. 5 years, it's 11,000. So X stands for years. Y stands for cost. So when you do the magic of finding your slope and your beginning point, your linear equation is going to look like this. Y equals negative 2,000x plus 2,100. That's what it's going to be. And so when you find the value after 8 years, x is years, so negative 2,000 times 8, and then your total cost is going to be $5,000. That's going to be the value of the car after 8 years. Okay? So that should take you through that one. Real quick, I'd love for you to try these on your own. I'm going to tell you what kind and give you the answer. So you have 4 different to choose from. So on this 17, Kate bought $23.40 worth of 2 types of bird seed. So X is thistle, Y is wild bird seed, and that's 2 different types. So your equation, that's a standard form equation. 160 for thistle and 95 cents for wild, and that's going to be $23.40. So there's your linear equation. And your answer, if she bought 12 pounds of wild bird seed, your answer here is going to be 7.5 pounds of thistle was purchased. So this is just for the sake of time for you to do them. All I want you to get here is what is the linear equation you use and the answer after solving the question. So number 2, 18, Jeff is keeping track of his weight after several weeks. 2 weeks, he weighs 194. 6 weeks, he weighs 186 pounds. So after 2 weeks, he's 194. 6 weeks, he's 186. Wow, good job, Jeff. All right, so this is a 2-point one. So when you have 2 points, you and X here we know stands for weeks. Y is total weight. Total weight. So after the magic of solving for slope and then using the slope to find your point, your linear equation is going to be y equals negative 2x plus 198. And then how much did he solve after 12 weeks if he went at this rate? He would weigh 174 pounds. So the first one is a standard form one. Second one is 2 points. Let's look at number 19. Landscape charges $35 to deliver mulch. The cost of the mulch is $29 per cubic yard. So slope is $29. And I already know that X stands for cubic yards and Y stands for cost. And then they charge $35 to deliver. That's their beginning point, $35. So my equation is y equals 29x plus 35. That's the equation. And then if you have 6 cubic yards, how much would it cost to deliver? It would be $209 to be delivered to the site. All right, number 20. Hallie uses a birthday check her mother gave her to start a savings account. She plans to save $25 per month. Hello, slope. So I know I'm going to be doing $25 per month. And just because of that language, X stands for months, Y stands for cost. After 9 months, After 9 months, she's 300. That follows the formula of x and y, so that's a point. So, sorry, my computer zoned out. Okay, so that stands for slope. That's a point. So my equation then is y equals 25x plus 75. So solve an equation to find the original check amount from Hallie's mother. The original amount was 75. That's my beginning point. That's what she started with, 75. Hopefully you got those on your own. If not, come see me.